I get it. You're tired of using your iPhone for video and you're ready to upgrade to your first camera. But you struggle with the overwhelming amount of options out there. Not to mention, you're still learning what aperture, ISO, and shutter speed are. Well, we won't go into detail about those terms, but you can learn more about them and how they affect your image in this video here. As a videographer going on 7 years of my profession, I remember when I was in your shoes, scrolling through endless reviews, trying to figure out what camera would be the one to kickstart my creative journey. But here's the first thing. Your camera doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to fit you. Now in this video, I'm gonna break down the key things to look for and recommend the best beginner-friendly cameras based on your budget and needs. So by the end of this video, you'll be confident in the first camera you choose. By the way, my first camera was a EOS Rebel T7i, so you'll be better than me. So when you start looking for a camera, you're hit with a ton of choices. Mirrorless versus DSLR, full frame versus crop sensor, 4K versus 1080p, Sony versus Canon. And it's a lot to take in. And if you're new to photography or filmmaking, all that tech jargon can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, I'm going to make this simple for you. Instead of getting lost in all the specs, let's focus on 3 things: sensor size, lens compatibility, and ease of use. Let's break it down. Sensor size. The sensor is the heart of the camera. A bigger sensor equals better low light performance and depth of field, but bigger doesn't always mean better. Crop sensors are much more budget friendly and perfect for beginners. So this is crop sensor and this is full frame. Full frame. For your first camera, I wouldn't worry too much about if it's a crop sensor versus a full frame sensor. We can get into details about that in another video, but for now, we're just looking for something that fits the budget, not necessarily the sensor. Obviously, they both have the pros and cons. Remember, this is your first camera, so let's stick to something that's going to be good for your budget. Okay, so the second thing we're gonna talk about is lens compatibility. Lenses are just as important as the camera itself. Mirrorless cameras give you more flexibility with lens choices, so pick a camera with the good lens lineup that fits your needs. So for me, over the years, I've accumulated a few lenses. The 24-70 2.8 is the lens that is recording the video. I have a 70-200 that I use for weddings, and if I want to get longer shots where I can't get close, let's say like sports, videography or photography, got an 85mm that's good for portraits, a 16mm that's good for real estate photography and video as well. And I typically carry a 50mm as well, which is the first lens that I've ever bought. This is the EF version, and I also have an RF version if you're sticking to Canon. But as you can see, over the time, I've accumulated these lenses. Now, with these lenses, what I've been able to do is upgrade the camera that I have, but still use these lenses, because what you'll find is a lens like this can cost you anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000, maybe even more expensive than that if you're upgrading to the newest version. So I like to keep or hang on to them because it just makes your life easier if you're spending all this money on camera. So just keep that in mind. If you're going with a camera that allows interchangeable lenses, you're probably going to spend more money on the lenses than you do the camera, because you're going to upgrade the camera, and that's that. To be honest, once you get into interchangeable lenses, you'll never look back. If you want to know the best well-rounded lens, in my opinion, for all occasions, check out this video on the 24-70 where I go into depth about it. Okay, so the third thing you want to look for is the ease of use of the camera. If your camera is too complicated, you'll spend more time reading the manual than actually shooting or watching YouTube videos. So what I look for is something with good autofocus, a flip out screen, and an easy to navigate menu, especially if you're vlogging or filming solo. On my first camera, the Rebel T7i, it did come with a flip out screen. So I don't think I would have bought this camera if it didn't have a flip out screen, because I first got into videography to film vlogs and short commercials or interviews. So if it didn't have a flip out screen, I wouldn't have bought it. And as you can see, this is probably the best feature of this camera. In my opinion, Canon has really good menus to navigate through, especially if you have a touch screen. So I just prefer that over any other brand. I'm also biased because I shoot mostly Canon and some Sony too. The other thing that I should have mentioned was knowing your budget. Knowing your budget is going to help you narrow this list down even further. But the 3 things that we just discussed are going to help you find out which camera fits you for your creative journey. All right, so let's get into my top 3 beginner cameras, I chose to go mirrorless in this and know that this list is exhaustive, so it could change at any time. But I chose these three based off of what I think is going to be the best beginner camera for you. The first one I wanted to start with is the Sony ZV-E10. This camera is good because it has a 4K video output, a flip out screen, and has amazing autofocus. This one's going to be lightweight and compact, which is good for travel and vlogging, a lot of what I do. Now, the downside to this is that it has no in-body stabilization, so you're gonna wanna get a lens that does have that in it. The price that I've seen on B&H is $698 for the body only and $798 for the body with the kit lens, okay? The second camera I can recommend is the R100. Now we're gonna go back to Canon on this one. It has a crop sensor, but it still has really sharp image quality. What I like about this camera is that it has an RF mount, so it can potentially future-proof your lens selection. The downside to this camera is it has no in-body stabilization and no flip-out screen. That is a deal breaker for me, but the budget makes up for that, which is $479 for the body only and $599 with the kit lens. So the budget is on the lower end. You won't get a flip out screen, but it'll get you into having your first camera, and that's the goal at the end of the day. The third camera I'm going to mention is the EOS R8. Again, we're going back to Canon, and I think this is the best camera for growth. It has a full frame sensor. It can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second with no crop. Obviously, great dynamic range. Another lightweight camera, which is good for photo and video. The downside to this camera is that it has no in-body stabilization, which is what you're finding through all of these budget cameras. The battery life, you're gonna wanna buy more than 2 batteries. Now, the price on this is $1299 for the body only, and for the kit lens, which is the 24 to 50, it's $1499 at the time of this video. So it's a little more expensive, but again, if you can get around the in-body stabilization that it doesn't have, you can work really well with these cameras. I started off with Rebel T7i, did not have in-body stabilization, so I typically would use a stabilizer to make sure that my image was stable. You can do that with all the cameras that I just mentioned, by the way, but the no in-body stabilization makes the camera cheaper, or is a feature that's missing because the camera is cheaper. Each of these cameras is perfect for beginners, but the best one depends on you, your budget, your style, and what kind of content you want to create. Now, there's another camera I just wanted to talk about. I'm gonna be really fast on this. It's the Canon PowerShot V1. It actually just came out at the recording of this video, but the good thing about this is that it can record log footage, shoots 4K, has a flip out screen, and it's only $899. And from the look of it, from the reviews that I've seen, it's a really, really good camera. So might be something else that you may wanna look into. The downside to me in this camera is that it doesn't have detachable lenses, but it does have a big brother that does. We won't go into detail about the camera, but just wanted to let you know that that's out there for the price, and it's really, really small. So it'd be something I would consider if I didn't already have a beginner camera, or if I didn't have more advanced cameras in my camera bag. At the end of the day, the best camera is the one that fits your needs and gets you excited to create. So don't stress over having the perfect gear. Start with what you can afford and focus on storytelling and creativity. For me, I use my camera for travel vlogs and road trips. So if you're looking to get into the same type of storytelling, check out this video for more information.